wanted to do a video talking about my childhood because it wasn't that typical trans childhood where like the kid knew they were a different gender from when they could start talking and they, you know, went by a name that was typical of the opposite gender, and you know, they refused to wear boys' clothes, if, you know, whatever, stuff like that. That wasn't how my childhood went, and I think it will be good to have something online that talks about childhoods that weren't like that, because when I was like researching this, it was really hard to find something from anyone that didn't have that childhood, so it kind of made me question if I was actually trans, because I couldn't find anyone else similar to me. So I think, yeah, this is a good thing to have, even if not many people find it, but it's nice to know if someone is like me and they did find this video, they wouldn't question as much, maybe, if they are actually trans, just because of their childhood. So, yeah, when I was younger, I used to be really girly, and I have like old photos of me dressed up in princess dresses. I had, you know, I wore pink stuff with flowers on, and, you know, skirts and things like that. I'd say when I was like just below the age of like 9, I'd say, I was wearing those kind of things, and from what I can remember, I didn't really, you know, want to be called a different name than my birth name. I was kind of fine with it, I guess. Although I do remember when I was 5, I wanted short hair, but I think that would have been that. I don't think it was short hair like a boy's haircut. I think, well, I don't remember when it started, but I remember watching like a Catwoman movie or a Batman movie or something with Catwoman in it, and I don't remember who played her, but the actress had short blonde hair. I think it was like a pixie cut, and I remember seeing that and thinking it looked so cool. So I like asked my mum to have for that haircut, but she said no. So I had it long till like 2016 or something, and I got it cut. But that's like the only instance of wanting something boyish, I guess. Not even boyish, just I just wanted short hair. And then after about the age of 9, I'd say, I really got into dresses and high heels and stuff like that, and clothes that like accented my figure and shit. Sorry for swearing. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't know how my mum allowed this, but at the age of like 9, 10, I used to wear high heels, and I'd curl my hair, wear some, not really, I've never really liked makeup, but I used to wear some like lip gloss or like one shade of eyeshadow or something like that. I also used to do ballroom and Latin dancing, which is like the waltz and the samba, if you know what that is, from like the ages 3 to about maybe like 11. I don't really remember when I stopped, but because my grandmother used to do it, and so she wanted me and my brother to also do it, so that's why I started from the age of 3. And obviously I want, well, not I wanted, but as I was born a female, I was forced to do the girls dancing, you know, and learn the girls parts and things like that. And then when it came to competitions, all the girls have to spray tan, wear their hair in a bun if they have long hair, wear makeup and wear dresses. The girls are not allowed to wear anything but a dress, unless it's like a costume specific for that thing. Like if it was a circus concept, for example, they could wear shorts and a sparkly top or something like that. But we didn't really do anything like that, so we had to wear dresses for competitions, and I never really got into dancing. Like I just didn't enjoy it, but my grandmother kind of forced me to do it for that long. But I kind of remember not really liking wearing the dresses, but it was mostly, I think, because I just didn't really enjoy dancing, so whenever I got into that kind of dress, because they're very different from like dresses you would wear on a night out, or, you know, normal dresses, casual things, they're very different from that. So I think whenever I wore that kind of dress, it just reminded me of dancing, and I just didn't enjoy dancing, so I think that's the only time I didn't like wearing a dress. But yeah, I did that till about age 11, which is when my grandmother finally let me stop. And then about after the age of about 11, when I started secondary school, which is kind of like about middle school and high school for Americans, that's when it kind of went downhill, and I started to realise something was off, because I hit puberty, or at least female puberty, and my body started changing in ways I didn't like, and, you know, my chest started to grow, and I hated that. I did not want it to do that. I started having Shark Week, which was horrible. And whenever we had PE and I would get changed with the girls, I always felt like I didn't belong there, and like I just might have had the same body as them, but I just didn't feel like I should. Yeah, and all the girls started talking about, I know this isn't really, gender expression is something different, but all the girls started talking about, you know, girly shit and makeup and boys and you know, like what kind of dress they want to wear on a night out or at the friend's party or whatever, and I just was not comfortable with that at all, and it made me feel like it just kind of planted this idea in my head that I wasn't a girl. Despite my childhood, which also I forgot to explain it when I was explaining my childhood, but I also really liked girls' toys and shit, and like I used to be into like Monster High, which are fashion dolls, and I used to like One Direction, which is, you know, teenage girls are into them, and you know, I had my bedroom painted bright pink. I just forgot to mention that because I think it was it's important to show that I was really into, you know, I was really a girl when I was growing up. But yeah, when I started secondary school, that's when my mind started exploring that maybe I wasn't actually a girl, and I remember when I was 11, I still didn't know what the word transgender was, so I didn't know that's what was happening to me. I thought it was just, you know, being different, you know, being a different kind of girl. And I remember asking my mum for a name change because I hated, at that point I just didn't like my birth name, and I remember asking her for a different name, anything, and she would be like, what name? And I was like, something, you know, like Alex, and she was like, no, that is like the most basic name. But at the time it was like the only name I could think of that wasn't my birth name, but it wasn't you know, like a boy's name, or it was just a generic name that kind of felt like I could fit into it. But yeah, my mum refused to do that, which I'm kind of glad now because I don't think I would have suited Alex anyway. But yeah, and so I used to ask my mum to get my name changed. I used to ask for short hair because at this point my hair was like down to my waist, I'd say, and I used to always have it up in a ponytail. I don't think I ever had it down since after like 10 years old. But yeah, and I also have this, well, at the time, I guess, I used to live on the street where there was loads of kids, maybe about like 8 of us, who would all play together outside, and we had this friend called Kyle, who had always identified as a boy. Like, when we were playing outside, we would always refer to him as a he, and I don't think he had started calling himself Kyle then, but we used to never say his birth name or anything. He won't watch this, but yeah. And then when we got to secondary school, he, in about year 9, I think, which is about 14, 15, or 13, 14, I think. I think his mum had gone into the school and had got his name changed on the register, and he had been able to go into the boys' PE class because we were separate. And I remember looking at him and being really jealous because I still didn't know why in my head. But I remember being like, why can't I do that? Why can't I be in the boys' class? And why can't I get my name changed? And I think that's when I kind of started to realise maybe I actually am a boy, and I started looking online for things and resources, and at the time I wasn't really watching YouTube much. It was a thing, And I remember I did actually watch like YouTubers, but I don't like Jacksepticeye gamers. I never really watched, or never really looked at transgender or LGBT because I didn't think that was a thing. Like it was becoming a big thing, and I think America had just passed the gay marriage law in all 50 states at the time. So it was a big thing, but I never really thought people could make videos on it. So I looked up just online in general, and I found transgender, but I also found non-binary and gender. Excuse me, I found gender fluid. That was it. I found the term gender fluid, and I straight away knew it didn't fit me. I remember I was like, that is not who I am, but I can't find anything else. Because I was really afraid of my mom and family not coming out as, well, not accepting me, sorry. Because I've lived with my grandparents most of my life, even though I am in a good relationship with my mom. I've just never lived with, well, I have. It's complicated, but I don't live with her, and I haven't for the majority of my life. But I always thought my grandparents would not be accepting, so being me, I thought, I'll come out as gender fluid, so they'll accept me because I'll still be a kind of a girl. Well, I know it's stupid, I'm completely invalidating, but that's just what my mind was at the time. And it was about year 10, so when I was like 15, that me and my mom started looking into colleges, which is not university, it's like a thing before university, but after school in the UK. Even though I was starting year 10, we started looking at colleges early because I just wanted to be prepared. And I remember when we were on our way to college that was about an hour and a half away in the city next to me, because I just wanted to get away from school and the school people and everything. I came up to her on the way there as gender fluid, and I remember she was like, that makes some sense, but I just don't, I feel like she could tell I wasn't comfortable saying that, because she was like, I don't think that's what you're trying to tell me, and that's it. She just ended it on that, and I went to college and things. But I think she helped me realise that I should just properly look at what I am and think, and so that's what I did. I looked more online, looked at I finally came across a trans FTM and realised that is literally me, describes me so much. And so yeah, that year I had got short hair, even though I still didn't tell my mum at the time. I just remember being like, can I have short hair now? And she was like, yeah, okay, we'll just get it into a pixie cut or something. And I was like, no. But yeah, I got that. And then in October 2018, as I explained in my first video, I came out to her. I came out in a McDonald's parking lot, car park, that's it. I forgot the British term for it then. But yeah, I came out to her in a McDonald's car park, and I said, I'm a boy. That's who I am. And she was fine with it. She was like, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to go see a GP? How does this thing work? And so yeah, I explained to her and what we need to do and everything, and then we went to the GP like the next week or something like that. I think that's where I'm going to end it because it's almost 20 minutes. I think that describes my childhood pretty well. But yeah, I really hope this has helped someone, or even if no one sees it, it's kind of been good to have it off my chest, because whenever I talk about this to anyone, or at least when I talk about being trans to anyone who asks about my childhood, I always lie and say I have this childhood where I wanted to be called, I don't know, Tyler or something. You know, I wanted to wear boys' clothes all the time, which is not what happened at all, but I feel like people would judge me because I didn't have that childhood, and so I've always lied about it, but it feels good to get this off my chest. And I think people seeing this, even if they're not trans, can educate themselves and be like, oh, just because they played with dolls or still wore girls' clothes when they were like 5 doesn't mean they're not trans. And yeah, this does really worry me though, because I've heard that some gender clinics are really like judgmental towards this kind of thing, and you know, if a trans male goes into a gender clinic but still wears like feminine clothing, some gender clinics will say they're not trans and they're just, you know, a girl, which is stupid and it's not fair. But yeah, maybe I can talk about the how transgender health is, how it works in the UK and the pros to it and cons to it, if anyone would like that. But yeah, it's been 22 minutes. I will end it now, so goodbye.